Here we go. Barry, welcome to UK Fight Site.
Thank you so much for welcoming.
No worries. It's Barry versus Perry.
Exactly.
Where does the nickname come from, Barry?
All right. That's a funny story. So as you know, Chanel, my friend, you met her recently as well. And she was fighting at the Four Nation in Liverpool, and I went to support her. And she was meant to have on the corner Barry Hillier coach, her second coach with Steve. Yeah, well, now I don't know, it's the order of the coach, but before was Steve the main coach. And basically, Barry didn't show up because he had some issues or something and he couldn't come. So when we went to the venue, like we were already baffling about, like Steve was already saying like, oh, so you're the new Barry and blah, blah, and stuff like that. And I was not yet at the gym. So it was like probably my first time I was seeing Steve. And the funny things, no, it was the second time because I met him on a jiu-jitsu comp. We went to the venue and they gave me the badge that was saying Coach Barry.
Yeah.
So basically,
so that's the Barry, boxing Barry.
Boxing Barry. And the funny thing is that I just met him recently, and it's like a year that I have this surname, this nickname now, and people don't actually know my real name.
Yeah, Federica.
Yeah, well, you're probably like the first person that get it right, also the first go.
Oh, okay. So that's really good to know because I knew the story that you was at a show with a friend. I didn't know it was Chanel. And I never put it together that it was Boxing Barry.
Yes.
I was saying by his Instagram because Chanel was talking about it recently. That adds some more insight to that story.
Yeah. Well, I always follow Chanel shows, and probably if Barry would have been in there, like I probably wouldn't have this nickname now. So
That's it,
I mean, it's fun. I like it. I mean, I can't even take it off. I tried to give my name to Steve at first, Steve, we should find like a proper fighter name. I usually go by Loca. I really like Loca. Everything started because one DJ I really loved when I was little and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to be Loca for Loca, blah blah. And Steve was like, nope, no way. He has to have Barry on the name, and I was like, okay. Well, so it started to like Barracuda, Barrinator, and all these kind of things. And at some point I was like, okay, let's get Barracuda for the first fight. Then after 1 month I realized that it was like total like effortless and Barry was the name. So everybody called me Barry. The referee called me Barry. Everybody called me Barry.
Yeah, it does work out because it sticks in your mind. I think the first time that I saw you was on some social media of the Cage Warriors Southeast, and like the weigh-ins and everything, and it was just like, yeah, Barry, we need you here, Barry, and I was like, is her name Barry? And it catches your attention, right? It's just like, oh, so her name's Barry, and you have to look into your social media. So yeah, it's a good trick. It works out.
I think it's like if you potentially have an image, like an illustration on how things go, thinking of me, it's Barry, the twerking, and then the fighting skills. So let's say that it's quite recognizable, like this name all over now, London at least.
So talking about the fights, you're next up at the Bloodline Fight Series.
Yes.
Taking on Alice Blackman. So that's on the 14th, so not long now. So I really appreciate you coming through today in the middle of your fight camp and everything. How familiar are you with Alice? Have you seen many of her fights?
To be fair, I watch her fights, and it's so funny because she made her debut with Suzanne Wilson, which was and she was exactly my debut jiu-jitsu fight.
Right.
When last year I decided to start competing jiu-jitsu and get into jiu-jitsu seriously. I signed for Absolute. She's purple belt. I'm still a white belt. I don't do lots of gi, so probably also for this reason I haven't had any possibility to grade, and I don't like stripes. So, anyway, coming back to the fight relating things, I fought Susan for my first ever jiu-jitsu fight in a competition in absolute. She was slightly heavier and very much more skillful than me. And like we wrestled a little bit, then I was trying to get her on a takedown and she reversed it. She ended up like getting the mount. I escaped and she triangled me. So me and Alice are connected through arm machines. No, honestly, I'm not blaming her. Like I think Suzanne is really good fight, so she's a really good fighter. So I can't really say anything. I saw her second fight where she managed to pull out a nice back control and a sub, and respect to that, really nice. Apart from that, I don't really know her. I'm not familiar at all. I don't even know, like I know she's coming from a good gym apparently, and apparently that's what my coach and like people says around. That of course not being UK, like, I'm not from UK, so like I don't really know lots of the gyms around outside London. But yeah, I'm really looking into it. Like it's gonna be a nice and interesting fight. So I'm not really have anything stated or prepared. To be fair, like I don't like to define myself as striker or grappler. First of all, because I haven't competed in none of them enough to clarify myself in what I'm better. Definitely, I started first with striking, so it's more like a comfortable situation. Even though I have to be honest, I really like grappling. Like I really like jiu-jitsu. Like I train lots. Whoever knows me know that I train lots of jiu-jitsu. I go different open mats and everything. I sign for multiple competition even when I'm in fight camp. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight.
Who have you been working? Obviously, you're based at Team Underground, but where have you been working with to prepare for this fight?
Let's say that my journey in London for like also grappling wise and everything started in my first gym of mixed martial arts that I joined. That was KO back in like 3 years ago, I think 3-4 years ago.
Bethnal Green.
In Bethnal Green, around here. But I was more focused like in a different discipline because I always been doing boxing. Even when I was in my country, I was doing boxing. But I never really like had the chance of competing seriously. And when I came back to London, I was like, okay, I'll go back to boxing. Then I was always watching wrestling. I was watching like MMA, UFC nights and all these kind of things. I was like, I want to grapple. I always watch WWE as well. I want to do MMA, like I really want to. So I started there, but let's say that the grappling there at the moment was not, the team was really young, it's still young and it's not really like stated, to be fair. No offense, like it's a very respectable gym, but it's not what I'm looking for MMA. And so I decided to join Fight Zone. And that where I started my jiu-jitsu career and I fall in love like with the jiu-jitsu, like I started training gi and everything. And it was right when I tore my ACL. So right before KO, I tore my ACL and I joined Fight Zone that I already had my ACL torn and I was already looking into surgery, so back in my country. So I started jiu-jitsu in Fight Zone. I had a few competitions with them. It was really nice, lovely. The only problem is that Fight Zone is really far from my house. Despite, I think they are like probably the best gym around UK in Europe. Like the checkmat is really famous in all over the world, to be fair. And like there's like a very good competition level in both like gi and no gi. Of course, I have down my house London Grapple, which is amazing as well. And after like a lot of thought, like what shall I do? I don't really want to leave Fight Zone and everything. I decided to move to London Grapple. This happened recently. So let's say that I kept preparing myself for this fight, grappling wise, always with my team Underground. They really good. Like I think like we are really good grapplers team. Like to be fair, the wrestling is really good, like pressure wise and everything. I really like it. But jiu-jitsu wise, also because I'm small and everything, and we are more known as an MMA gym, like I like to go around the jiu-jitsu gym, proper jiu-jitsu gym, you know. So I decided to keep my jiu-jitsu journey separate and like training at London Grapple too. But yeah, I do most of my preparation in all the gym I go. Like I keep my strength and conditioning up to point with myself alone in the gym, and then I train sometimes every now and then with different coaches. One of them is Tom from my gym, Tom Scratcher. And then I train a Team Underground everything. I train a London Grapple everything, because in London Grapple there's also Matt Inman, which is a coach in my gym, a Team Underground, and also a London Grapple. So I can use both sides, you know, like the best of both worlds, like Anna Montana. Like, sorry, I'm a joke. But yeah, well, let's say that I couldn't really train lots of Aizen, but I've been preparing mostly with Kate. Kate Bashik.
Queen of the South.
Yes, the queen. I love her. She's amazing. She's not only like fighting relating things, like she's been like around me, with me, and helping me in everything. So like, honestly, big shout out. And yeah, like Steve, the people down at London Grapple that I just met, like all my like partner in training, Nadine. Nadine, she's been training with me a lot. Like she's Nadine Abu Sada. She's fighting now on Newcastle at the end of the week in Rise and Conquer, where I did I did debut in there. Rig fight. Like they robbed. Was totally robbed. Sorry. I can't get over these things. Like, I keep forgetting it. Then whenever I remember, like, robbed. That fight was robbed, honestly. But yeah, anyway. I've been training with her a lot. She's my main sparring partner and everything. It's her. Like, we went together Liverpool as well to training in the next gen. So yeah, let's say that I like to, as I say also to Aaron last day, I like to think that everybody can teach me something. So everybody helped me prepare for my fight. Coaches, teammates, friends, everybody.
Brilliant.